Good evening, everyone. How are you? We are live on YouTube, and I'm going to get Facebook going, so give me just a minute. Hello, everyone. We'll see if Facebook is going to cooperate tonight or not. You never can tell what it's going to do. It's supposed to automatically go live, but it hasn't. So give me just a second. Good evening. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to be doing stenciling, and I think you'll, excuse me, I seem to be hoarse, find it easy to do the process. So I hope you enjoy what I've got to show you. And Facebook is not going live. Lovely. Give me one more minute. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Nancy. Carmen, Marcia, Teresa, Britt. Everybody's jumping on. So give me just a second. I'm trying to see if Facebook's going to do this or not. It may not. I'm not sure what the problem is. Give me 1 second. See if I can get this going. Maybe. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. Oh, there we go. All right. I think we have it now. It is starting on Facebook. Yay. Oh my gosh. It might be a good technology. I shouldn't say that. Knock on wood. Technology night. You guys can hear me okay? Just double check. Let me know. Okay. That you can hear me. Oops. Don't want that. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I think everything is live now. So you guys that are on YouTube or Facebook, if you'll just comment that you can hear me, make sure that the volume is okay. I have got like a frog in my throat. Okay, great. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Okay, so tonight we're going to do this stenciling. And I'm going to show you how to layer the stencils, which is I thought was a really cool idea because I'm always like getting out of my area that I'm working in, and then you've got cleanup and everything, and this is minimal. So, all right. Hey guys, thanks for jumping on. All right, I'm going to switch to my overhead camera. Well, first of all, I want to tell you, I just posted this on Facebook. Those of you from the West Coast, I am going to be at Marjan Ceramics in January doing 2 classes. If they fill up, we will do another day. So be sure and sign up and get your name on the list because there is limited seating. Okay. Carolyn says she's excited for tonight's class. Thank you. I'm glad you are. So anyway, the Marjans will be carrying some of the products, not the whole complete line, but when I go out there in January, I will bring their setup. So watch for that information also. Okay. Hey, Rose. Okay, so that was what I wanted to tell you about was the Marjans class. There is a PDF, and if you're on YouTube, I pinned it at the top of the comments. There's a PDF on the website. Anytime I do a live, if you're new to my live events, I try to go live on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. Sometimes Facebook doesn't always work, but it looks like it is tonight. So good evening, everyone on Facebook. So on my blog on the website, I just want to make sure you guys know that this information is out there. And let me just show you real quick. The website will come up here. So if you go to the blog and you go down to glass or ceramic, whatever you happen to do, tonight we're doing a ceramic technique, and it has all of this past blogs there. So when you click on the photograph, so here is tonight's, and there, right there, it says download PDF file. If you click on that and download it, you're going to get what I'm showing you here. So you can go and download any of the past. The other nice thing is at the bottom, there's a link to the video. You don't have to go searching and finding in YouTube what you're looking for. If you like the project, it's right there. Okay. All right. So hopefully that explains. So in that PDF, hey, Jameson, thanks for jumping on. You get the list of colors, the brushes I use, picture, and generic instructions. Okay. I even, I use stencils that I don't carry, and I'm kind of weeding those out and not going to have any anymore. So there is live links within the PDF to all these different stencils where you can purchase them. 3 of them are from cdstencils.com. And then this one down here that I used on the blue ornament here is from sandymcteerdesigns.com. But the links are live in that PDF, so be sure and use those, okay? Then I gave you just a quick, here is the setup with the circle and a stencil, and then showing you the buffalo check, and then just some basic photographs so that you have it for reference, okay? So be sure and take advantage of that and go download that and keep it in your files, okay? You're watching on the big screen in the living room. Jameson says, oh, that could be interesting. I won't show my face for a while since you've got that on the big screen. So what I did this on, this will work on, I did it on earthenware. This is just a cast tile. You could do it on your stoneware, your porcelain. It doesn't matter. It's going to work. The colors may change slightly, but not a whole lot. Okay. And you can't tell on camera, but there is, because of stenciling, you do have a little bit of a raised surface. Those of you from my glass world, the glass peeps, you can do this same technique and do it on top of the prismatic textured sand base. It will work exactly the same products. Okay, so Jameson, you could do it with that technique over on glass. Okay. All right, so I did give you a pattern with it if you want it. You can use clay carbon, tissue paper, and transfer it. What I did, oh lordy, did I forget to bring my stencil? Oh no, I didn't. I got it here. What I did was just use this Fa La La stencil that's in the link. I just used the circles that were in it. Okay, so what I did, I've already got my tape here, but I just took, and I don't have a pencil back here. Today has been a hectic day, so please forgive me. I'm a little discombobulated at the moment. So you can just use that stencil and create that circle if you're wanting to paint it in, or you can take my pattern, transfer it, and paint it in if you don't have these. So what I'm going to do is just put these on here. So I'm working on a greenware tile. Now my marker has stopped. So I'm just going to kind of make a line so I know about where it's going to be. And it doesn't have to be exactly like the other one. And I'll try to look up and watch for comments. Okay, guys. So I know randomly where my pieces are going to go. All right. So let's start on the blue one. So use painter's tape just to protect any areas that you're afraid that it might go over if you think you're a messy painter. So like I can put a piece of tape here. I can line that up and say, okay, this is where I am going to be. All right. So let me get my product out. And what I want to make sure and show you is, excuse me, for some reason I have got a frog in my throat. I'm going to use the number 20 stencil brush. Okay, this is the largest one that we carry. We have 5 different sizes, and I put a link on the YouTube. I think it was at the top of the comments also. So I'm going to use the 20. What you want to do is take out, this one is blue. I'm going to use 3 blues on this, and I'm using color concentrates, which are translucent underglaze, meaning they are transparent or translucent. They do need a glaze over them for ceramics. Okay, so I'm going to work from light to dark. My overall coverage is going to be the 144 powder blue. Then I'm going to come in around the edges with the 151 cerulean, And then my stencil is going, my decorative stencil is going to be 152 deep cerulean. Don't forget to shake those colors before you dispense them. Okay, that gets them agitated and all worked up. That sounds really weird. Okay, so 144 powder blue. So this brush is flat on the end. This is a synthetic nylon brush. It's flat, unlike some of the older stencil brushes are more domed, and it tends to weep and get underneath, where this is staying in contact with the piece because it's flat as you're moving it. And we're going to do circles to the right, circles to the left. So I'm just going to load the very tip of it. Do you see that? I don't have very much on there. And I'm going to kind of tap it onto the brush. And then I forgot to grab my, I like to use the blue shop towels. It absorbs more of the product versus the regular paper towels. And I'm just going to kind of take some of that off, but my brush is still wet. And I'm going to go to the piece and I'm going to make circles to the right and circles to the left. Now you can see I don't have enough on there on the brush. I'm going to come in closer. So I'm going to load again, take a little bit off. And you're just making circles to the right, circles to the left. That ensures that you're getting it close to the stencil and you're getting it right up next to that line of the stencil. I'm going to load it again. Bobby says she has the stencil brushes. They're wonderful and they work with all different mediums. If you're from the acrylic world, you can do the same thing. You would just take a lighter blue, and I am going to go back and do a acrylic video for this. I've got some other ideas, so give me a day or two. It's been a really crazy week, and it's only Tuesday. And then you can tap the color on. Now, you can leave, isn't that pretty? You can leave it kind of uneven, or you can try to make it even. It doesn't matter. It just kind of gives it more character, I think, and gives it a more realistic if it's not completely. But it's better to apply multiple thin coats than it is one thick, heavy coat. And I know you guys have heard me say that before. If you want to tap, you can tap it on. But just watch out that you don't get a pattern. That's why I like the swirling. Okay, so see that? Perfect, nice, crisp edge. Now, I'm going to take the 151 cerulean blue. Again, shake that. I don't see any comments on Facebook. And this happened last time too. I'm not sure why. So if you're commenting, I'll have to go back and answer your questions, or you can pop over to YouTube and ask it where I can see it. So I'm loading the 151 on the brush. I'm taking some of that off, just like I did before, onto the shop towel. And this time I'm not going to do an overall coverage. I'm just going to come in about a ½ an inch from the edge. So we're just basically creating shading to give it more dimension. You can even feather it in by just dragging it in from the edge like that. And I'll show you what it looks like in just a minute. So you just have to keep going around until you get an even coverage. Okay, see how you've got the shadow around the edge? Isn't that cool? All right, now you could tape your stencil down to your piece if you wanted. Here is the decorative stencil that I want on top of this one. You can see the photograph in your upper left-hand screen. So when doing this, if you put it on top, you're going to have a gap between it and the stencil below it, your circle stencil. You want to go underneath. Line it up where you want it. We can even tape that in place with some painter's tape. Remember, I'm working on greenware, earthenware, greenware, but it can be done on any clay body. I'm trying to line it up without sticking my head in the screen. And now I'm going to use deep cerulean for my detail. Hi, Debbie Henson. If you're on Facebook, like I said, I cannot see the comments. I don't know why Facebook is doing that. It did it last week. So I apologize if I'm missing a question. So now I'm going to pick up some of that deep cerulean, tap it down on the tip. You see the color's not going all the way up. It doesn't need to. You're just wasting product by doing that. And once again, you could tape this down if you wanted. So I'm just going to anchor it. And now I'm going to lightly, I'm not applying any pressure. I'm just letting it glide on the surface. Circle to the right, circle to the left. And just make sure that you get all the areas. That when you're going back and forth with your circles, that ensures it's getting up next to every little line that's cut on your stencil. Because this has got all kinds of small spaces. Okay, so just go both directions. You can lift it and check. Of course, I taped it down on that other end. Nice. Okay, so I can take that off. Isn't that slick how you can do that? And look at that. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Hey, Miss Stacy. Thanks for joining. If you had a little, I'm on greenware. If you had a little, I've got one little tiny area that was out there. You can just take, this is just a cleaning tool, and take that off. Isn't that the coolest thing? I just thought this was really neat. I may be overdue. That's my excuse. I wanted you to be able to see it. Hey, Leela. Welcome, welcome. Now, because this is really close to that edge, see it's real close there, I am going to put a piece of tape there because I don't want, and I just noticed I don't want my brush to go outside of my area. I want to keep it there. And then I've got tape down here to, so I don't get it on these letters and stuff. Okay, so on this one, we are doing 160. We're going to do the same process. We're going to do 160 key lime all over. Then I'm going to hit the edges to make it a little bit shadowed around the edge with 161 green leaf. And then we will do our decorative stencil with CC 162 laurel green. Again, make sure you shake those thoroughly. It's a fun little piece. You could add it to anything. With using stencils, you do have to make sure that your piece is fairly flat, because that will make a difference. Although this is a very thin stencil, so you could try to get it inside of a shallow plate or something if you wanted to try to do that. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get this green on here without having too much blue. Not that it'll make any difference. Circle to the right, circle to the left. Not enough. Load again. Did you miss the answer? Britt says, could it be done on glass? Yes, if you use, I did say that if you do the prismatic textured sand base, you can use exactly the same colors, same process, the whole thing on glass. And I can go back. I'll have to see if I've got a piece prepped with a pour that I could go back and do that. I was going to grab one if I had it, and I got waylaid. Today has just been not a good day all the way around. So crazy busy. When you're trying to prep for these lives, a lot of people don't understand how much goes into it, and the equipment, and making sure that everything is good to go. I mean, it takes me at least 2 hours prep to get ready. And I was doing some website updates, and therefore I was running a little late. Okay, so that's my overall. It's a little darker because it still had some of that blue in it, but that's okay. And now we're going to go with the 161 green leaf. Am I doing this on, Nancy says she's doing it, I'm doing it on greenware. I'm not on glass tonight, but you could do it on glass if you have the prismatic textured sand base. So I've got 161 now, which is a little bit darker, and I'm going to just do it around the edges. That will make it look more three-dimensional because it's going to have a shadow around the edge. So you can go in circular motions, and you can also feather in from the edge. Okay, so see that? I like that. All right, so then do you need to, I can show you my palette if you need to. Let's do the palette and the overhead so you can make sure that you guys are understanding how I'm loading the brush. Okay, so I'm going to put out some 162 Laurel Green. It's a very, very strong green. You don't need very much of it. And then we're going to get our Buffalo Plaid and then our Merry Christmas. Okay, so once again, you can put your detail or decorative stencil, line it up however you want. I can grab another piece of tape. Don't put your tape on your color, okay? Just FYI, pro tip there, okay? And now I'm going to lay the circle back on top of that and line it up. Okay, does anybody see? I've got that Mary. I'm going to get another piece of tape and block that out. Because I don't want that to by chance get on here. And I'm going to the green. So just make sure you've got it lined up. Maybe just a smidge to the right. Okay. So now, see the sample because it's on the other screen. I'm going to load with that 162, come over to your shop towel, make circles, take some of that off, and then come back to your piece and just rotate to the right and to the left. Very soft, almost tickling the surface. You don't need a lot of pressure. You're just circling to the right and circle to the left. And you can tap it if you want. Just make sure you do it evenly across your piece so that if there is a pattern, it is even. And there it is. Isn't that cool? Fun. You thought it was on glass. I'm sorry, Nancy. No, this is ceramic. This is a tile, just a earthenware tile that I'm working on. Sorry about that. But it can be done on glass. Absolutely. I'm going to scooch this one over a little bit further than what I had it, just because I don't want it sitting on top of that blue ornament. It can be, I guess it can be right up next to it. Okay. And on this one, I'm going to use 112, 111 and 112. Red geranium, which is the lighter red. 112 candy apple red is the darker. Okay. Thank you, Miss Stacy. If you're on Facebook and you just joined, I cannot see any of the comments, so I apologize. So I'm going to use the 111 first. I am going to switch and go to another brush. I'm going to get my shop towel here. So I'm going to tap on the color. So did you see moving it the wrong way? Tap it on and then go to my towel and make circles to get rid of the excess. And then I'm coming to my piece and I'm making a circle to the right and circle to the left. I need more on there. Those of you that are ceramic, and if you're part of the ClayShare group, you may have got an email a little while ago. I am the ClayShare sponsor starting tomorrow, and I will be doing a demonstration tomorrow on the live at 5. You can watch that. If you're not a Clayshare person, you can watch it on YouTube, on Jessica, on her YouTube. And then you can tap it. Remember, I'm going to add more. You don't want to go straight with wet color to your piece. If you don't take some of it off, you're going to end up with a blob where you set the brush down. Okay. And it doesn't matter what medium you're working in. Okay. So you've got a nice even coverage. And now I'm going to grab the 112 Candy Apple Red. You switched over here from Facebook. Hey, Stephen. Was it not working on Facebook or just because I couldn't see comments? I still see there's 30-some people out there. Okay, so load with that red a couple of times and then take it off. Same thing here. We're going to come in from circle to the right, circle to the left. So we're just adding this around the edge just for a little bit of shadow. And you can feather in to create that shading or to give it more of a round look. I know it's a little hard to see that, but I think you can. I think it shows up good enough. Yeah. Okay. Just so you can see me. Oh, and say hi. Well, hi, Stephen. Love this. We're looking forward to making these. I mean, you could do this on, think about this, guys, on coasters. Those of you that do your own clay, roll out, make a circle, and you could make Christmas coasters. And you could do one of these on one side and one on the other side, and do your, what are they called? Thirsty coasters, I think they're called. Okay, I'm getting off track. I am going to go back to just the overhead. I think you got that part. So here is the stencil that I used on the next one. And you can kind of see it has swirled this way. And you can see my red still on the stencil. So I know kind of where to line it up. Now on this one, we are going to use white. And because we're trying to cover an underglaze, we are going to switch and use the color stroke white, the CS602. Okay, this is the opaque underglazes. These reds and blues and greens I've used is a translucent or transparent underglaze. You were thinking about that for your students. Yeah, great class idea. Or make a little, you could do it on a soap dish, possibly, you know, a Christmas soap dish. I mean, you could do it, you didn't have to be Christmas oriented, but they could cover it, you know, brush on a coat of color and then take stencils and stencil on top of it. So there's so many variations of it. You can definitely, so you can use like the number 12 or we have the 12, the 14, we got an 18, and then the other one was a 20. So I'm going to just pick one. This is fairly small, so you may want to go with the 14 or the 12 so that you have a little more control with it. Okay, that's the reason I say that. So I'm going to load that white, take off the excess. Oh, what did I forget to do? We got to put we got to match it up. Want to protect our background. Now, if you don't have stencils, can't afford stencils, you could take the patterns that I gave you, and you can cut circles on your Cricut, your silhouettes, or just by hand cut it out of contact paper and make yourself a mask basically to do this. Okay, so you don't have to have, and then you could do brushwork by hand, you know, do common strokes or all different types of things, wiggly line. I mean, there's all different types of variations. Okay, so once again, we're going to circle to the right, circle to the left as we're going on top of this stencil. Now, the white tends to not show up until it dries. I'm going to reload. I'm going to go over everything one time, and then I'm going to go back over it again. So hopefully this gives you some quick and easy things you can do with this for Christmas gifts or your students. And I am doing a third coat, and I'm just going to kind of sit here and let it dry for a minute, and then I will do it again. Because it's white, you definitely want to make sure you get it solid on there. Okay, so let's do it one more time, just for good measure. You can see it's starting to turn white. Circle to the right, circle to the left. I'm flush with the clay body here. Tap it if you need to, maybe around that edge just a little bit. All right, we'll take this one off first, and then this one, and looky there. Lickety split. Isn't that cool? Now, I've got a little tiny bit. I mean, if you want to get really technical, that kind of came out there, which means I didn't have my stencil completely lined up, the circle one. But that just shows you. Now, on the, and I took all my pencils to the other room, I think. On the caps to the ornaments, it's just a rectangle. So I'm just going to use, and it does need to come kind of down onto the, and these markers do not like wet clay at all. So I may have to just do it freehand since I took my pencils to the other room and didn't bring any back here. I don't think I have one. No, I don't see one. Okay, we're going to use gray. You could go with 124 or 5 for a gold cap if you wanted. I'm just going to use like a gray for a silver. Any questions so far? You won't need very much of that. Don't forget, shake, 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 shake. Use a small square shader. You could use a detail brush. I'm going to use a number 4 square shader. And I'm just going to grab some of that. I started to say silver, some of the gray. Now, if you only had color concentrates, you could use all color concentrate. I'm not sure that I would, the white is going to be translucent. That could be tricky. But if you only had color strokes, maybe you've got the color stroke kit, then you can definitely do it with all color strokes. Now you see I went from one direction, and then if you'll turn your piece and then go from the other direction, you'll have a nice straight edge there. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to just add that here. So those of you from Clayshare, did you get your email with the piece that I'm doing? I think you're going to be happy. You want to see it in person? As much in person as we can, I should say. Luann says she switched to Facebook, okay, or switched to YouTube. Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes Facebook has a mind of its own. It's not, I'm just adding another coat to this. Yes, you got the email. Britt did. I'm giving away that beautiful project that I posted. It's all free for Clayshare. So this, let me back off. This is the one I'm doing tomorrow on the live at 5 Eastern time. And then I did it on a tile also. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to teach you, I'm letting this dry for a second, teach you watercolor background. Going to do the ornament the same way. Watercolor on the holly leaves, which I think is just really cool looking. You got the email too. Good, Stacy. So tomorrow on the blog, I will post, I think Jessica will put it out there too, but I'll post the pattern and basic instructions for this. Okay, so you, Merry Christmas from me. I was going to keep that and do a paid tutorial, and I thought, oh, it's okay. Let's just do it just for ClayShare. So once the video airs, I will put the link on my blog also, so that those of you that can't find it or whatever, you'll have it. Okay. All right. You could put a background on this before you started if you want. This is just bare clay. It'll end up being, because of the new slip that's out there, it's more of a creamy color versus a white. I did splatter this at the end, and you could do it with white, and I did it with the powder blue just to kind of give it the sky and snowflake type effect. All right. So while that's drying, then we have the words. So we need to make sure that we have everything protected. Get some more painter's tape. So especially up here at the top, got my name on that piece. It's called Recycle Reuse. So I'm going to put it down so that I've got it above that. And I'm going to protect down here because I don't want to take the chance of that. If I get crazy with my brush, what's going to happen? And I don't want to do that on top of that color. It'll pull your color off if you put it down on top of your color. Now, in saying that, some of this tape is going to be on there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to protect the back of it. So this is another little tip, because if I stick that down there, it is going to just pull that off like you wouldn't believe. And how do I know this? Because I've done it. Imagine that. You have the perfect piece to do it on. The plate will look so nice next to my 2 other plates I won. You're cute, Luann. That one will not be a giveaway. I might give the tile away. But I'm not going to give that plate away because I fell in love with it. Sorry. Okay, so you can take and figure out exactly where you want. I'm going to move this tape because it's going to land on top of that. I think I'll put the bottom one, and I can kind of see the edge of my tile here. Okay. I want to be careful that doesn't go down on top of there. So let me move some of that. All of these precautions, but if you don't know these things, you're going to wonder what happened, and that's what it is. Okay. So what I did was I came in with white first, the CS602, which I already have in that brush. And you're going to say, why? Because we're going to do what is called an ombre effect. So I'm going to, once again, circle to the right, circle to the left. Put a nice good coat on there. It's hard for you to see. And I am working like on a towel just because I'm on greenware. That way if I hit the table, hopefully I won't break it. I hope. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for just a second. And then I'm going to come in with the red. And if you notice, it almost on the screen, it kind of looks purpley. It's not purple. It's, we're going to do the red first, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do deep cranberry on top of that towards the bottom. Okay. And just so I don't lie to you, I want to double check what my color. I did the 112 candy apple, which I still have quite a bit of it left here. I'm going to go back to my red brush and load it. And I'm going to start from the bottom and go up partly, say halfway. Circle to the right, circle to the left. I can go back and add some white at the end if I get too far up. Okay, can you see that? I think you can see that. Okay, you can tap it on along the bottom if you want. And then I'm going to go to 132 Deep Cranberry. And that's more of a burgundy color that we're going to add. Luann says the tile works. She don't care. As long as it's a giveaway and it's free, she don't care, right? I'm going to put some of that out. And I'm going to use the red. Actually, I'm going to use a different one because I don't want to have to. I'm going to grab the 18 because I still need that red on Mary at the top. Okay. Okay, and this one is just going to go at the very bottom. Circle to the right, circle to the left. You can feather it up if you want. So now you've got 3 colors. See, it looks the same as the photograph there. So it's just along the bottom. If you got too much of the red, you could come back with the white and you could just do a little bit more along the top just to make sure that you've got a good amount of it. Okay. You see that? Kind of cool. As long as it's from Paula. It is signed. I think I did sign it on the back too. You guys are cute. All right. So Facebook, if you've just joined on Facebook, I cannot see comments, so I apologize. I'll go back and answer your questions. I am going to grab a paper towel and just blot that color off of that stencil. I am also going to take this tape off because I don't want it to interfere in this other area. And I've protected the front and the back so that I can do my Mary at the top here. Oops, and looky there. I got tape over the Y. So we got to take that off. All these things to remember. Hopefully that helps you guys in the end so that you don't make any mistakes. You don't display anyone else's pieces in your home, Luann? Not even your own? Really? I feel honored. Okay, go back to white. I'm grabbing my white stencil brush, load, wipe some of it off. Circle to the right, circle to the left. This also, by putting the white down, it does give it a base to start with. Now, it is picking up some of the red that was on my stencil, which is okay. I'm just going to go make sure that I've got nice and white at the very top. Even if it's a pink tint, it's okay. I'm not worried about it. All right, then I'm going to pick up my red brush with the 112. I think you guys got the idea now what's happening. And you're going to circle to the right, circle to the left. You can feather some up to bring it up into the letters, depending on, like that M is really big. And then I'm going to grab my other brush that has the deep cranberry, or I could go straight into it. So you can't do the Christmas, do the Mary, because you need to do all these colors at one time before you move your stencil. Otherwise, if you just had, unless you got 2 stencils, I guess. That's why I'm using multiple brushes. You could always try to line it back up if you want. So this one's just at the bottom. This is the deep cranberry, or that burgundy look. Looks kind of purplish on the monitor. And now I'm going to grab the white again. And I want to make sure that I've got some white up here. Feathered it down. And like I said, even if it has a pink tinge to it, it's okay. It's not going to bother me. Okay. So you can see that. Multiple thin coats are better than one thick, heavy coat, no matter what technique you're doing. Same thing applies for these stencils. Then you noticed I just went across it and then came back across it and back across it again. You want to do multiple thin coats. You start applying underglazes too thick and it's going to crack and it's going to pop off. Okay. All right. So now what you want to do, and look what I did. I did hit the area, that green, with tape. Evidently, I had a little tiny bit that was stuck out here. So I'm going to line the green back up. And I'm going to take the white brush and the 161. You always need to know how to repair it. And I'm going to just add a little bit. This was the darker of the two greens. I'm just going to add a little bit on there. I don't think it'll show, but okay, repaired. Now you need to shade the caps. Okay, so you've got little like pleats in it. So I shaded the bottom with a float of black, and then I just did all the rest of it with outlining. On your letters, you'll just come in and you'll accent, like if you're going to do the right side or the left side, just accent some of the letters. It just makes it stand out a little bit more. You can see there on the Mary with black is what I used. And then I did the string with the black also. Okay, I'm going to wipe off some of this so that I can put my black out. Ran out of room. Imagine that. Okay, so you can take the number, I like the number 10 square shader. You could do it with a smaller brush if you want. You may want to turn your piece to the side. And I'm going to bring my water bowl over here so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to add water to the brush, kind of let it get in there. And then I'm going to drag it off the side, drag it off the side. And then I'm going to put the writing of the brush towards me. So what that's doing is removing the excess, but it's also giving me a nice chisel edge. The chisel is the tip of that. See the edge of it? It's nice and all the hairs come together. This is a Kolinsky square shader, which is the highest grade of sable. Now, do you have to use this one? No, you could use a Taklon. Just remember, whatever, you get what you pay for. So if you're looking to add a square shader so that you can, and tomorrow I'm going to be using the square shader a lot, to your collection, this would definitely be one to add. So I'm going to drag it off both sides, put the writing towards me. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to move that light because I think it was not letting you see. I'm going to corner load. When I say corner, I've just got a third of the brush with the color. I'm going to set this down before I spill it all over. And then what I want to do is I want to blend that color into the bristles. So I'm going to really fast, press it, press it, press it, press it. And you see how it fades across. And then I'm going to flip it over, color next to color, and press it in there. So now when I take it to the piece, you've actually got black along one edge, strong, and then it fades out to water. So this is called floating color, or a float of color. It's not a float stroke. There is no such thing. You're floating the color or shading. So I rinse the brush. I'm going to reload again. About a third of the bristles is what you want. Flip it over, color next to color. So a lot of times I will do it a couple of times when I first start. And then I'm just going to come down, and you can kind of zigzag it if you want along the bottom. But we're going to put those lines in Okay, remember it's just water on the other side. So that's just water at the top. That's not color out there. Okay, but it gives you the illusion that it's ribbed or textured. And I'm just going to grab what color's out here because I need to come out just a little bit further on that one. Okay, and then you're going to take your liner brush. I like using the 3600 number 2 liner. If you're new to our products and to Colors for Earth, we do have a clay share set of brushes, which has 2 mops, and you can't see it, but there is one of these liners in here, and it has 2 sizes of stencil brushes. All you have to do is type in clay share in the search bar, and you'll find that, and that's a good set to have for backgrounds, and then the stenciling and your detailing. Anytime you're detailing, you want to thin that color down, so I grab some water on my brush. I'm going to grab some more water, and I'm thinning just one side. You don't need to thin the whole puddle because it's going to evaporate before you ever use it up. So just thin one corner and load it. So when you're loading the brush, pull the color through it, pull, pull, pull. It's like putting shampoo in your hair. You need to get that loaded, and you need to have a nice fine point. You also need to make sure there's no water on the ferrule that could fall off into it. Rose is saying she watched an older video of mine and I'm marbleizing poinsettia petals presently. Okay. There's all kinds of videos out there. So combine, you don't have to do just this, but just think of the potential with all different types of things that's available. All right, so let me come down a little bit closer so you can see. So I'm gonna tilt it so you can see it. I'm just going to come down the side, and I'm just going to kind of wave the bottom, come down that side, across the top, a little bit more color, and then I'm just going to add in those little sections or ribs that you see. Okay, and then there's a little U shape or the little hook on the top. Okay, so just come down. So I'm standing on the tippy toes. There's hardly any pressure on the brush. Remember, a brush stroke is color, pressure, and motion. So I've got one color. The amount of pressure will determine the thickness of my line. And this is just, I'm basically drawing with it. There's no brush stroke like commas. I know a lot of you thought I did that stroke work, and it's a stencil. Isn't that awesome? You don't have to know how to do that. It's a stencil. You can cheat. I like to cheat every now and then too. All right, so let's do this one. Any questions about what I've done so far? I really can't wait to see what you guys do with this. I mean, I think there's some potential. And don't think of it just, for Christmas. Depending, you could put a square. I mean, just because it's a circle doesn't mean it's an ornament. You could do stars. I mean, there's all different shapes. Now, I will tell you, I mean, these stencils, I don't know what this, probably 2 mil as far as the thickness. But there are these type deals out there, but these are thick. These are like an 1/8 of an inch. You could use it maybe for the circle, but you can't. I mean, because it's raised up so far, I think you're going to have trouble getting a good coverage on your base. So think about that. You may be trying to cut corners, but think about the stencils. Like I said, there's links to where I got those in the PDF on the blog. So be sure and check those out. And I don't remember if there's any sales going on their website right now or not. So I'm just going to create like a little hook and come off the top there. And my color's already drying out, so I'm adding more water to my black. Now see, this one's in a different place than that one was, so that's okay. We're going to have that string just go over there. And you can either make it go under or on top of your letters. I made it go behind. All right, so then on the letters, and I'll bring this one over here so you can kind of, maybe you can see it. You can, I knew I needed to accent up where the white was because of the fact it was white, even though it was going to be on a cream background. So it's really up to you. This is the number 3600, number 2 liner brush. That's my favorite liner. Works great with glass, ceramics, and acrylics. So just come in here and just accent anywhere. Or maybe you've got an edge that's not perfect and you need to clean something up. Well, the nice thing about this is, and Stacy, I would not try to use the bottle with the tip on it for this. Well, it's on greenware for one thing. I just don't think that you really need a liner brush. And I know you can do your liner brush. I've seen you use it. And then on the little R's, I did come in and I kind of gave you the illusion so that you can see that it's circled. Carolyn says she loves the ombre on the words. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. I thought it was kind of cool looking. You don't have to do it. You could do it with one color. Just use red. You could do green and red even if you wanted to. So remember, your imagination is your limitation. Do what makes you happy. Use the colors you want. You can swap out any kind of colors. I'm too funny, Stacy says. I'm picking on her because she doesn't like to outline with the liner brush. Sorry. I love you, girl. You know that. I'm just giving you a hard time. Just very, very tippy toes. Do you want to see it on the side camera so you can see how much? I mean, I'm hardly putting any kind of pressure. Let's do this. Okay. So I'm kind of looking at the one I did here. So what you want to do is just barely touch. I'm just letting it touch the surface and pulling it. So barely, barely touching it. Okay. So let's come, and you can make them thicker or thinner. It's really up to you. Now, if I happen to make a thick line, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back and add some thicker lines to some of the rest of it so that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. You don't want your product too thin because it's going to fall off of your brush too fast. And I've got a little drop of water there that I wanted to get rid of. So it needs to be a nice flow. It needs to come off the brush, but not drip off the brush. Stacy says she used her liner brush on her sassy chicks. Awesome. I'm proud of you. You know you can do it. I watched you use it in the class. Now, see, I forgot to do that R on this one, so let's add that little comma there. Any questions about what I've done here? Actually, I think I went more lighter pink up there instead of the white, but that's okay. No two things I usually do are the same. And who's going to know it but you guys, right? I hope you like this. I hope you find some uses for it. But you see, I'm just barely tickling the surface with the tip of that brush. It's hard to do it and talk at the same time. When I outline, a lot of times I hold my breath. Do you guys do that? I know you shouldn't do that, but I am known for that. So sometimes it's hard to talk you guys through it if I'm holding my breath. And you guys that do acrylics, the same thing would work. You don't have to do this outline by any means. Especially you wouldn't need it if you had like all one color, for sure. I'm going to add just a little bit up here just to make sure that stands out, just because it's lighter. And maybe a smidge on the top there. Now, I did not outline the ornaments. Let me switch back. Okay, so I did not outline them. I just left them with the stencil. Okay, you could if you wanted, but I did not. And that's all there is to it, guys. Pretty simple, huh? Pretty simple. What do you think? Okay, so do you notice that when I'm rinsing my brush, I'm coming back to the paper towel, and I'm a fanatic about this. I'm just pressing down and pulling, and I'm turning it to different sides to make sure there's no black still in my brush. If there is, I'm going to rinse it and do it again until I see nothing. And then I know my brush is clean. Okay. You like it? Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right. So if you don't have those stencil brushes, pick those up. We do have, there's a set of 4. It comes with the 16, the 14, the 12, and the 20. And then, like I said, there's that clay share set. If you're looking for mops for backgrounds, it does have that liner in it also. Oh, and then the edge. I didn't show you that. And if you've not ever seen me do an edge, this is really cool. It's so easy. I'm going to use the 112. I'm going to use this foam 25-cent brush. Remember, it looks like a house. It's got a roof and the sides of the house, but in here is hard plastic. You want to keep it against your piece, only on the roof of that. I know that sounds weird, but if I tell you stuff like that, you will hopefully remember it. So I'm loading that brush up, and then all you need to do, you can put it on a turntable, banding wheel if you want. You want to stay in the middle of that roof and keep the same amount of pressure, and you will have a nice even coverage above, and it's going to go up and go under, and it doesn't matter what the shape of the piece is. This works with rounds, triangle, wavy, it doesn't matter. But keep the same amount of pressure. Flip the brush over, use the other side, and apply 3 to 4 coats. Thank you, Bobby. I'm glad you liked it. I would love to see what you guys do. Tag me when you create. Oh, you guys, you know what? Do hearts, and for Valentine's Day. That would be beautiful with these lacy stencils and stuff. That would be really cool. Okay. Yes. Well, no, Stephen, you're talking about, this does not work on glass. The edging, no, it would not work. Sorry. But as far as the rest of it, yes. Luann says, couldn't these be used on the table to put a hot bowl? Yes and no. Use it as a trivet is what she's saying. I really have never used, because you got to think about the thermal shock. If you did it out of stoneware, absolutely, Luann, I wouldn't have any problem with that. But the earthenware, I would be cautious about it. Now, somebody else may tell you differently. Okay. So I'm just going to tap that in. There's a little area that wasn't. Kind of cool, huh? All right. I tell you what I'm going to do. I will go back through the comments on Facebook and the comments on YouTube, and I will pick a winner from each, and I will give away a stencil brush. Okay, like let's do the number 16. Let's do the size 16 brush. We'll give one of those for YouTube and one for Facebook. All right, let me switch back to the camera. Okay, so I will give away, I'll just randomly pick out of the comments. So if you haven't commented on either, you want to definitely put your name in or say hi or I want in or something like that. And then on my next live, what I'll probably do is give one of these away because I do not need two of them. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's if you guys succeed, I succeed. So hopefully I'm giving you things that you can use in the future. But think about the Valentine's Day. Stacy, you need to think about that. You could do a great big heart and then do the lacy stencils or just some lace or swirls, or there's all different kinds of things that you could do. So think about that. Do you have the date in Jan? Yes, Britt, I just posted it. Let me pull that back up on the screen again. So it is January 10th and 11th. It's a Friday and a Saturday. If we fill, I will stay, and we're going to add a day because I know there's a lot of people that has been asking me for months to come out there. So January 10th and the 11th in Phoenix at Marjan Ceramics. Pretty cool. They are a huge distributor, and they are going to bring in Colors for Earth. I will bring it with me when I come out there. So I'm excited to work with them and help you guys in your Colors for Earth journey. And Britt, I'll get to meet you in person maybe if you're going to be there. Hopefully you'll be back in Phoenix and not in California. Okay. All right, guys. Your mind is spinning. Oh, good. Good. Well, mine spins all the time. But anyway. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go get something to eat. I haven't done that for dinner. And you guys take this and run with it. I look forward to seeing what you're doing. Love you guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye.